Hi there, this is Sheila with Stampin' Wishes, and welcome to my studio today. Well, this is one of our stamp sets that are retiring. Unfortunately, it's a really cute stamp set. It's called Above the Clouds. And so what I decided I would do, since this is retiring, and I wanted to make a little bag for it, and I remembered, of course, this that we used to have, and it made great gift bags and real easy to use. And I thought, well, you know, a lot of people don't have this, and it has retired, so let me see what I can come up with. So I played around with different measurements and different styles, and this is one of them that I came up with. And this is not using that template. This is going to be using cuts and scores. These aren't decorated yet, but I wanted to show you the different sizes that there are. So you've got, let me turn them kind of over so you can see them real well too. You've got your long one, which is great for hand creams and long items that you know, need a little bit more space in the length of it. You have your medium one, which is great for just about any gift, maybe for one of your care providers that are out there, our nurse and stuff. Putting a personalized little mask in it would be real cute, especially with our little sayings that we got recently. And then this little small one, great for just a few pieces of candy and just letting somebody know you're thinking of them. Okay, so what we're going to do is make one in, these are all retiring colors that you see here, and the green clover, I believe it's called, or something like that. And this is the pineapple shade that's going to be retiring, which I'm kind of sad of. And my favorite, the Blueberry Bliss, is retiring. So if you need any of those colors, you might want to get in there and get you some right now before they're all gone. And so let's go ahead and get started. I will leave on my description in my YouTube channel all the measurements for each of the small, the medium, the large. Today we're making the medium size, and so you want to start off with an 8.5 by 11 inch cardstock. We're going to come in and cut it at 6 inches. And what I'd like to kind of warn everybody of, I had this out the other day, and I put it in and it wasn't closed real tightly. So you might want to remember that when you're especially doing things out to 6 inches. I was cockeyed and I didn't know it until after my cutting was done. So we're going to go ahead and cut this. Now normally I would probably use my Score Pal to make my score lines. And so you end up with a 6 by 11 here. But the reason I'm not is I want to be able to show you kind of how you have to go in between for your, what I call your side measurements and score lines. We're going to get your cutting blade out of the way, and we want to be at 1.5 inches to do our top portion of our bag. Or it's actually the bottom portion, I should say, because it's where our little flaps are going to come together at the bottom. Okay, so we want to score that, and that's at 1.5 inches. Then we're going to come over at 3 1/8. So we'll come right in here, and we're going to go ahead and score there. Then we're going to do 4 1/4, but I'm sorry, 4 1/8. But at this one, what I'm going to do is start where the score line is at 1.5, and I'm just going to score down because this is going to be one of your folds that come in on the side like this. Okay, so you don't need it scored all the way to bottom, but doesn't that look nice and everything? That looks real cute. I don't know if I did one with the regular one to show you no, I did it all with the way I did it. So, but anyway, they're real easy, they're cute, and they're fast to do. So our next score line after that is 5 1/8. So we're going to come over here to 5 1/8, and again, these measurements will be on the screen as well as on my description and on my blog. Then we're going to go to the 8 1/4. And then we're going to make another one of those partial score lines at 9 1/4. And we're just going to bring it up to the 1.5 inch here on your deal and score down and back up to 1.5. And then our last score is at 10 1/4. So let's bring it out here at 10 1/4. All right, that should be all we need with our cutter, so let's go ahead and move it off to the side and out of the way. Now for cutting your edges and stuff, I'm going to bring this up. Hopefully you can see all the score lines. You might want to go ahead and just kind of fold to see where you're at with your different score lines. And I'm using the main ones. We'll do these little inserts a little bit later, but do this, and then we'll go ahead and do our cutting for the bottom. Now what we're going to do is cut up to the first score line at that 1.5 inch. And then we'll cut up here, doing the same thing. And you normally don't have to trim your, usually we miter these type, but I found like doing it this way, I didn't have a need to it. We're going to round some of the bottom corners, and that seems to help. But if any of them don't want to fold over correctly, just miter up the edges of them and they'll be fine. We're going to cut off this little long piece here. We don't need it here, okay? And then we want to just give this one a little bit of an angle cut just so it fits in nicely, okay? So now we've got all of these cut, and that's all you need to cut right here. Then I'm going to bring in, if you have one of your regular corner rounders, or we have one, and I didn't have that one handy. I had my little crocodile here that does 1.25 inch, and I like the 1/2 inch. And we want to come in here to each one of these and round it off. So use whatever you have to do that with. And if you don't have one, then we do have one, and I'll list it in our supplies so that you'll know you have access to one of ours at Stampin' Up. This one's just a little bit easier for me to do when I'm on camera because I can kind of hold it up here. Okay, so we've got all of our bottom pieces done here, and the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and put us some score tape, and that's going to come over here and fit just like this. See how perfectly that comes down? So let's go ahead and get our tear and tape. I think I did say score tape. I mean tear and tape. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead, because we've got a good little width there, is go ahead and put 2 strips on it, just for that, to help keep it closed neatly. And if you'll remember that our gift box holder on the other side of it, a lot of people didn't realize it, but on this portion of it back here was, if you lined it up certain ways with your score line, you could punch little holes that gave you this type of effect where it goes all the way through the bag and ties it up. But we're going to do it with a crocodile. It's one of our old Stampin' Up ones. They don't sell them anymore, but you can get them at any of your stores if you don't have one, and hopefully you've got one from when Stampin' Up sold them. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this down and make sure that we're even at the top, and come down and even at the bottom. There we go. Now we've got a cute little box here. Now I want to put another piece of tape, because we only really need one flap that's going to seal. So I'm going to get these out of my way for right now. And we're going to put this right here, and I'm going to put an extra piece just to make sure we're got a good closure there. It's always a good idea when you use your tear and tapes to run a bone folder or something over it, just to make sure that the tape portion seals down before you try and lift your paper up. So now we're going to take and bring these 2 flaps over, this flap over, and then we want to make sure that we're squared well. So before I completely close down, I'm going to make sure that that looks squared. And then looks pretty good there. Let's see if everything else, yep, looks good. So then just go ahead and put your hand in there, and or your bone folder, you can go over it like so, and make sure all that's down there. Now what you'll do is you will push in on these score lines that we have, and now you have the little bag. Isn't that cute and real easy? Now to get our holes, what I did was to, like I said, bring out my old crocodile that I got from Stampin' Up. I've got some glue or something in my hole somehow or another, and so it makes the little pieces that I punch where it will want to come out. Now you have a little measurement here, so if you don't want it too deep, just loosen this and loosen it. There we go. Loosen it and bring it down to the depth that you want it, and then just tighten it up, and that way you get an even punch on each one. And I am using the larger size of the crocodile, and we're going to just come right in here and kind of balance it in our eyes, and there we go. And we're going to do this side as well. Once I get those out of here. Okay, and we're looking to do it about the same. Looks like it may have slid down just a little bit there, so let's just go ahead and punch it right there. All right, so now we've got our holes, and it goes all the way through, as you can see, these pieces. So when we tie this, it gives you a nice seal that this isn't going to come undone. All right, so let's go ahead and decorate it real quick. I've got some scrap white here that we're going to go ahead and stamp some of our above the clouds. This one here, I'll put that there so you can see it. And I'm not sure if this is in the camera, but hopefully you'll be able to see this. But what we're doing is a two-step stamping, and I do want to get me a piece of my foam out here because you get better impressions that way. So what you want to be able to do is line them up on top of each other. So I think we're going to do one of our balloons would be pretty in, I think the green and yellow goes real good. So we're going to do that. So let's go ahead, and this one is the Call Me Clover is the name, and that's also the paper that is retiring. And we want to come up here and go ahead and do our two-step stamping. Now what I want to do so that I get a better contrast between the two, ooh, I got some, let me get that ink off of me that I just got on me. This is still a fairly mushy stamp pad with a lot of ink, so it doesn't look like I've got a good coverage on some of this. So let's go ahead and take that off. And that looks good. So we're going to come down and take some of that ink off, and keep in mind that what you have here is the punch, so you want to make sure that you're down near the edge of the punch for when you do it. And this has a watercolor effect on it, or is supposed to have a watercolor effect, so you get that kind of different look like that, and that's the right way for them to do. So now we take our second phase of the stamping, and you want to make sure that your lines are dark in this one because you're going over this one. And hopefully I'm not going to get my head in here when I try and line this up and look over it. And I'm hoping I have this in good range here. Beautiful, love it. All right, so the other thing that you can do, and I'm hoping I have it here, I had a little template that I had punched out, and if not, we'll just go ahead and make us another one if we need to. I don't see it here, so let's go ahead and make us another one real quick. Let's put this away. And what the template purpose is to be able to line up your punch and your little basket or the flag, whichever one you're using. I'm going to see if I've got yeah, I do have some wipes here to get some of that green off of me, so I'm not making a mess on my papers here. Okay, so as I mentioned, we're going to make a template real quick. So let me bring over one of my scraps here, and I'm going to bring in my punch. And you're just going to go in and punch out a little template here for yourself. Okay, and what you do then is to lay this over here and line it up with your other one because we're going to need a basket here. So I've got the little basket, and we're going to take our soft suede and come in here, and we'll go down full strength for our lines the first time, and then the second time for the filling in of the color. Let's see if I can line that up. It's always hard to see at an angle when you're doing these cameras. Okay, so now, let me get that back lined up. I moved it a little bit. Okay, so now what I'll do is stamp off the one time and come in here, and it's just to kind of shade that basket like that. Isn't that cute? All right, so then it'll be ready to be punched out when we go to punch it. Let's go ahead and do one more of our balloons to match what we're doing here. So let's offset this. And I think we'll do the next one in the Grapefruit Grove. This is one of the other colors that are retiring. And let's put this over here. And wipe this stamp off so we don't get the green mixed in with the Grapefruit Grove. All right, so we're going to again get it fully stamped and then stamp off one time. And I'm going to go one more time. It looked like we didn't have a very good come off of there. Let's see what we get out of it. And you don't want to go too low or you'll not be able to punch your balloon in. And let me bring this over. Good. All right, so now this one here, we're going to go ahead and again go straight with our color because we want it's the second stamp phase, and we want to just bring it over and line it back up with the first stamp we did. Perfect. All right. But again, you can see how cute this is and how many fun things you could make with this stamp set. So if you haven't gotten yours and you'd like to, it is on the retirement list, so make sure you get it. Now what I'd like to do is, this one says, "We rise by lifting others," and to me that is something you would reach out and help others, and that's what it's all about. And so with having that in mind, and having in mind that little bag being something great to put a mask into, I'm going to come in here and hope that this is, don't know that it's going to be dark enough to see. Well, let's just try it and see. Great, it is dark enough. Good. All right, so we've got that stamping done. The other thing we'll do is go ahead and bring our template back in so that we can do our second little design here. And what I had done was use that one twice, but you actually use the second one. And so we'll do that this time when we line that up. Okay, so let's go ahead and line this up nicely with this, because you're lining it up the way your punch is going to be, and you want that even white around your balloons. And so now we'll go ahead and go in here with this. And then we're going to bring this little fill in, and we will stamp it off once, and then just come right over it like so, and that fills it in. All right, the other thing that I didn't do it with this one, but you can do with them that really comes out cute. Before you put your bag together, you can use these little, they come out really good to make kind of a background pattern on this, and you can also use DSP to make these bags, but stamp this and then you have that kind of coordination going on. So you might keep that one in mind, and we'll just put this off to the side for the next time. All right, so let's go ahead and bring in our punch, and then we will do our punch that we do behind it, which is the starburst. Okay, so now we're ready to put this together. I'm going to go ahead and get me some string here from our twine, baker's twine, and cut me a piece off, and let's go ahead and tie it up because it's just as easy to untie it later, but I find it easier to decorate it once it's put together. So let's go ahead and do that. And you might have one side you like the look of it better than the other side, especially if you're doing a background stamp. So you kind of look at that and remember that for when you're putting your string through, and put your side you're not as happy with to the back and the one you're okay with to the front. So let's go ahead and tie a quick bow here. I always hate tying bows on the film because you kind of fumble with them, and then when you're off screen they seem to go perfect for you, but we're gonna give it a try here. See my piece, if I can just get it to come through there. Okay, so there's our little tie, and we can fool with that a little bit later. So now what we want to do is to place these items, and we are going to need some dimensionals to go on there. So let's go ahead and bring this. I have the mini dimensionals, so we're going to go ahead and put that one on. All right, I'm back. I went ahead and I had some of this Daffodil Delight. I didn't really have one that was the right color for this, but I think this one will work just as well. And I'm bringing in my glue dots now and just putting in a couple of strategic areas there. And I'm gonna try and get this through here. And then we'll put it on our actual bag and finish the decorations on it. There we go. Okay, let's put us a couple of more dimensions back here. Whoops, that one fell through. And we'll put it on when we get it on the back, because it'll stick to the bag where it's supposed to when we get done here. Okay, so let's bring the bag here, and we're going to probably want to sit this one off like so. I think would be great. And then we're going to want one of the glue dots of our baskets here. And like I said, these little bags are so fun to make. You can make them up very quickly. So let's move off this, and we'll bring in and show you again the different sizes that you can make with this. And the last one is the little small one here. All right, so remember, this is the one that is retiring. If you don't have it and would like to get it, this is the time to do it. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the film, and watch for the measurements on all 3 sizes. Bye for now, and happy creating. God bless.